In our current world, it is said that every 10 years, an area the size of Britain falls under a jungle of concrete. Why? Urbanization. According to the United Nations Population Division, by 2030, each of the major regions that make up the developing world will contain more urban than rural dwellers, and by 2050, have a population composed of 2/3 urban dwellers. This increase in urban development, however, comes at a cost, with the destruction of habitats and an increase in global warming rates. As stated by former British Prime Minister Margaret Thatcher, we lose about 3 to 50 animal species a day, species that could be helping advance our society and further help human research. So then the question stands, to what extent should our current and future urban development be modified to accommodate biodiversity? Urbanization may seem hostile to animal life, but for the bold, this is a world of surprising opportunity. This is a quote from the Planet Earth 2 Cities documentary. One of these opportunities is the creation of urban green spaces. At the baseline, our current and future urban development should be modified to accommodate biodiversity, and urban green spaces may just be the key to doing this. As stated by Lucy Taylor, a researcher at the Sydney Faculty of Science, an urban green space is a surface that is usually, but not always, composed of vegetation and/or relating to the natural elements. Some examples of this that can be seen are parks, cemeteries, community gardens, and in some cases, even on buildings. Through the careful planning and management of urban green spaces, life on all spectrums could be improved. To begin with, the scientific effects of urban green spaces have proven beneficial to humans. Natalie Clark, a researcher in the Center for Agro-Environmental Research, showed a study that those who spend more time around urban green spaces reported fewer health problems, including reduced stress and faster sickness recovery. Another study, conducted in 2009 by a team of Dutch researchers, showed a lower prevalence of 15 different diseases, one of these being depression, in those who lived in with about a half mile of urban green spaces. Thus, multiple studies tie together the same conclusion. Through the conservation and planning of these urban green spaces, we can promote mental and human well-being on all spectrums. The environmental impacts of urban green spaces are also pretty notable, with microclimate regulation, air pollution reduction, and stormwater regulation, while also creating habitats. A case study conducted in Greater Manchester showed that even just a 10% increase in tree coverage led to a 3 to 4 degrees Celsius decrease in the ambient temperature of a city. This leads to air conditioning being used less, which means less energy, which leads further to cost savings. Tazalis, a researcher at the University of Salford, did another study showing that with the creation of urban green spaces came a reduction in the air pollution that a city had. This leads to lower risk of cardiovascular and respiratory diseases for those living in the urban green space. Almquist, a professor in natural resource management at Stockholm University, gathered that in US dollars per hectare per year, there is an average annual savings of $709 to $6,464 just from temperature regulation, air pollution regulation, and stormwater reduction. Over many years, this could prove urban green spaces to be economically profitable. A limitation, however, with urban green spaces comes the fostering of animals as biodiversity thrives. In many cases, buses have hit owls in DC, mountain lions have been jumping into Los Angeles zoos and killing zoo animals, and coyotes have been climbing onto New York City bar roofs. However, the root of this problem isn't in biodiversity, it's in us as humans, for our love and appreciation for these animals. As stated by Susanna Drake, the principal of a New York architecture firm, if there is an introduction of wild systems into a city, there needs to be an education that nature is harsh and one needs to be careful when interacting with it. This is why many cities have a wildlife action plan, where it regulates the interaction between their citizens and animals that may live in the city. There are several examples of animals that already live in harmony with humans in urban environments, such as leopards in Mumbai, peregrine falcons in New York, starlings in Rome, langurs in Jodhpur, and hyenas in Harar. Another limitation with urban green spaces comes with the lack of space some cities have. However, it has been shown that in New York City, there are 30 miles of flat rooftop. If these rooftop If these rooftops were turned into urban green spaces, we could impact the environmental conditions of the city, bringing down temperatures and reducing air pollution, while also providing a habitat for animals such as birds. In several countries, examples of this practice already exist, such as in Milan, Italy, where they build these things called vertical forests. It's where 2 hectares of woodland are condensed down to just 1/10 of that size by planting the trees on the side of buildings. These buildings are still functional and still serve as office buildings while also impacting the environment. Hence, with the projected increase of urban dwellers in the coming decades, the effects of urbanization need to be carefully considered and mitigated. Instead of urban development posing a threat to our ecosystems, our biodiversity, and animal species, we could use urban green spaces to foster biodiversity, impact our environmental conditions, and further promote social and mental well-being for humans. Through the careful planning, consideration, and management of urban green spaces, all of this can be achieved, including the reduction of pollution, cost savings, and further striving to foster biodiversity. Thank you.